Hey YouTube, it's Dimitri, and today we're going to discuss the software apocalypse. So, The Atlantic published an article, and it's called The Coming Software Apocalypse. And I found it on LinkedIn. I saw it was like trending. Anyways, my general reaction is more or less like shock and insult. The article is written by an author, I think her name is Nancy, and she gives like a whole list of all these examples on how software can have bugs, it can have errors, and computer programming is so complex that like people can't even understand it, and so they just design software like irrationally, and they don't even make it function very well, and so all these bugs and things cause all these crises. So this is complete garbage and complete trash. First of all, they go on to talk about how like computer programmers are lazy, they don't understand the problem, they don't really want to solve the problem, a lot of them don't even like to code, they don't like to program at all. And so the solution is if we go out there and we build this system where you can like go in and write code and like kind of do programming, but where you can see everything. And they give the example of Photoshop. So Photoshop is where you can load like an image or even like videos and movies, and you can go in and make adjustments, add filters, cut things, and you can visually see everything that's happening. So my first thought is you're dumb as hell, because the issue is that you have to write software to create software to do that. So Photoshop has software. So they also talk about Dreamweaver, which is like how you develop HTML and CSS, which is used to build websites. And now you can just click and point and make it all pretty. Someone that's done web development, I can tell you, Dreamweaver, in my opinion, is trash. It's great for doing things quickly and effectively and doing minor websites. But when you're doing massive websites, you want really unique functionalities. Sometimes you have to go into the code itself and fix things and debug things, and there's no better way of learning this than actually writing HTML and CSS code. So Dreamweaver is actually a great tool, and I would encourage people to use it, to build it, but you still have to know how to program and be able to do all this functionality just to make your program, software, website, or whatever do exactly what you want. On top of that, they kind of trash IDEs, so basically the generic software that you use to write code inside of. It does amazing things like it highlights different types of objects in different colors, it gives you runtimes errors, it helps you debug code, so it's pretty good. But they trash it and go on to say like, oh, it's old school and it's not very good. And so I'm looking at this like, so you hate software, you think it's all bad, and then your solution is to write more software to fix software bugs, and somehow if you write software that's going to do more editing and more visualization of this software, then you're not going to have errors and bugs. Like this is just laughable from anybody with a computer science background. I just can't even believe the stupidity on this. So this applies a lot to quantitative finance because yes, a lot of us actually do program, and they do programming, especially if you're in something that's like a trading firm where you're optimizing, like algorithmic trading firms. It's all about speed, so you'll be using low-level languages like C and C++. My visual understanding of this is like the article wants to have like a high-level language, but they don't understand that high-level languages can't do everything low-level languages can do. So if you don't know the difference between low level and high level controls like every little itsy bitsy piece within a program, and you can do like anything with it because it's low level, but it takes a long time to write programs because you have to do all this code. And they do mention it in the article, some lines of code to do simple tasks are these massive lines of code. But again, that's low level programming because you need it to do an exact thing. It can't just be like a generic action. And so high-level languages can do generic, larger actions. It can be quickly used to build large programs. But the issue is that you get rid of the specialty and the functionality by going to a high-level language. So there's a use for low-level and high-level, and I feel like the article completely ignored all of this. Again, going back to quantitative finance, I think the issue is that people are just stupid. And I hate to say that, but that's just the reality and the fact. We need a lot of really good high-end computer programmers. The exact same thing holds for model developers in like banking and finance. Anybody can go out there and just write generic code. Anybody can go out there and just build a generic finance model. But when you have to use it and it crashes and it does terrible, that's your own fault because you hired someone who wasn't qualified to do it. And even in risk management, I struggle continuously because you have people now that use more or less high-level languages like SAS, R, and Python, and their package is pre-built to do statistics, and they go in there and they run in and they throw all this data in, just like data science. They just throw garbage in, and then a garbage trash model comes out, and then they don't understand why it doesn't work, or somebody validates it from a validation team and they fail it. So in computer science, they have like alpha and beta testing. This is made to test for bugs and hopefully get most of the errors out. Yes, you're not going to catch all of them. It's not feasibly possible. However, software has positively impacted our life and makes a lot of the things that are like dirty jobs more doable, more reasonable, like just simple things that you can do like in a car. Like it gives you car example. There's all this code and stuff in the car and oh, it's scary. Yeah, but it does like cruise control and you can get like, XM radio and your car can do all these stuff now and it has Wi-Fi and everything. It's great. It's amazing. It makes life great. But there's always a potential for failure, regardless if it's software or mechanical. And so taking this back to the finance side, I am just frustrated because banks don't have training programs to train new employees. And so the new employees take what they kind of learn in grad school and they're either really excited to start and their kind of like motivation dies because the company suffocates them and doesn't want them learning new things. Or you just get lazy people who basically went out and got that degree because it made a lot of money or it was popular. And so you have bad employees. And so part of this I think needs to be interacted with. Companies need to do a better job at hiring better employees. And second of all, you need to do a better job at training your employees. So coming back to quantitative finance, how is this relevant? Like I mentioned in statistics, you have all these high-level languages and people can go in and they can build models quickly, but the issue is they don't understand the mathematics or the logic that's behind all the assumptions within a model. And yes, I have had a guy on LinkedIn argue with me that you can have perfect models that have no assumptions. Anybody with a generic stats background, like a stats 101 class, will laugh you like right out of the room. And anyone with like actual training and who's a professional, graduate degree, experience and everything will just be on the floor laughing because you're just so ridiculous. You can't have a model without assumptions. And so again, if you don't understand the logic, just like in computer science, if you don't understand the logic you're applying to the problem, then it's not going to work out very well. Same thing in finance, quantitative finance, you build models, you don't understand the assumptions, those little theoretical things that you have to understand to build that solid model, it's going to turn out with bad results. So even though you can mass generate models quickly, or you can generate software quickly, and it's great, and it's wonderful, and it works for the time being, then it fails and everybody blames the guy that's programming. I have a hard time doing that because A, the guy programming might have gotten bad information from the people. He might be underqualified, so yeah, it could be his fault as well. And so at the end of the day, these complex problems need complex people. And if you're doing something very important, you should go out and find the best employees. The solution, as this article points out, is not to go out and blame people. It's not to go out and tell people they're dumb. It's not to go out and, when they're saying people are dumb, they're like blanket statements of the entire industry, of everybody in computer science. It's just absurd. And the fact is they just really miss the point of what value technology adds. And they even mention like self-driving cars. And they kind of fail to see that if a self-driving car kills somebody, it's software's fault and it's bad and we shouldn't do it. But what they don't tell you is that that software might have saved, 1,000 lives for every life that it took. And so the reality is now we're saving an extra 999 lives that wouldn't have been saved if we would have just only been on mechanical systems. So that's kind of my rant, guys, on this. I'm just really shocked that someone would post this article. I guess I could see it coming. There's lots of people out there that look at software programming, statistics, mathematics, things that are STEM related as mind-blowing and extremely confusing, because they just don't have the background to be really understanding what's going on. So that's my opinion. I'd love to see what you guys think in the comments below about this software apocalypse. We've had similar things in banking where models blow up. We've had financial crises. We've taken measures to do risk management. But those are kind of my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, until next time. Thanks for watching my video. If you find it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe.